Guys, there is new inventory for fall at the Home Depot Garden Center. You're going to see flowers for cool weather, chrysanthemums, shrubs, herbs, and so many different items to decorate your garden as well as your porch. My name is Marlene. Welcome to my home and garden channel. Now let's see what they have. So the first thing that I saw was these beautiful chrysanthemums, pinks and burgundies, not the typical colors you would think of, but they're so gorgeous. And I think if you're going for neutrals or more on the red side of this color wheel, then these will go perfect for whatever you're doing for your garden or for your porch. These are some other ones over here. These were like the 1 gallon sizes for $10.98. And then they had the larger ones. So you can see there are lots of different colors and different sizes available. Over here, they had some celosia, and these were gorgeous. These are annuals, though. They don't come back. They were $13.98, but this makes a great addition to your outdoor space. And over here, they had these ones in the whiskey barrel. In such gorgeous colors. They just have something to suit whatever you are working with. These ones, I should say, were for $29.98. Over here, we had some smaller ones, depending on your budget. These were, I think, like the 1/2 gallon sizes. And they still, are a pretty good size, in my opinion. I think it's worth the money. You can see how much they were going for on there. And what I'll say is, you see that some of them are fully open. If it's early in the season, you may want to get the ones that are not fully open. If it's later in the season when you're watching this, then you can get the ones that are, out in bloom. Over here, they had some hanging ones, and these are beautiful. But bear in mind, guys, that when you do get plants that are hanging, because of gravity pulling the water down, you need to water them more frequently. So these, you most likely want to water them every day. And a watering one is a great idea. And what I'll do is I'll link one in the description box. You can check it out online. Down here, these are some heuchera, and I think the colors are so gorgeous. And over here, they have some cone flowers. You can see the pollinators are still out, butterflies and bees over here again. And these are wonderful perennials to plant now before the ground freezes over. And they're the gift that keeps on giving because you can divide them over time and you get lots of flowers, from just the one that you just started with, plus the seed heads. Same is true for these black-eyed Susans over here. And when these plants go down, if you don't prune them back, then the seed heads are there for the birds during the winter. So that's triple duty. Over here now we have some more heucheras, and these were like like that muted color. And they had some stone crops over here. And these are nice pillar plants if you're doing container gardens, depending on what you're pairing with it. And you get lots of plants from here because you can propagate them and you can have so many. This is another type of stone crop over here. $7.98 is what these sizes were going for. And they are also beautiful spiller plants, and the color is wonderful in the fall. When they have some more heuchera over here, and I think this plant is really becoming a lot more popular in the southeastern United States. You can tell me if they are in your area. Over here, they had some black-eyed Susan. These are the larger ones, and these were going for $7.98 as well, which I think is a really good buy. These are perennials. Over here, though, I prefer these because I like that darker center. It looks a little bit more of a contrast to me. And they kind of remind me of, like little sunflowers. And I just think they're so gorgeous. And look at them, guys. They're pretty large, too, this size that they had over here. And you can see how they're looking there. Now, onto the cooler weather flowers. These would be the pansies. And these are going to last, right up through fall, into the winter and early spring. You can see how much those were going for. You can see the depth of the container. So if you like, you can always repot them in something that's larger. You can repot them in your flower bed. You can leave them what they're in, but be sure to feed them, before the soil freezes over so they can have enough nourishment. They also had some, lots of different colors, but these were flats where you can get, I think this one has 9. So if you have like flower beds or multiple containers, it might be better to just buy one of these. You can see the price, pretty reasonable, I would say. And you can just transplant them out and, fill out different areas around your garden or for your porch. If you don't have a lot, you can maybe just get like the 4-inch containers, and these are a little bit larger too. Over here now we had some snapdragons, and boy are these gorgeous. I just love the colors. These will come back in some areas. They call them short-lived perennials because they may come back for 2 or 3 years sometimes, not depending on where you are. Over here they had the more these are the more fancier pumpkins, but you can see how much those were going for. They're more flat, and they just have that almost like an artisan feel in a sense. They had the white one there, and these were for $14.98. If you're going for the smaller size ones, these are you can see these are a lot less, and these are the more typical ones that you'll see in most decorations. And I love the color. I think it's bright and it really pops for me. And that's the size that I actually used for my recent fall porch refresh and the fall porch makeover. And I'll link this video at the end if you wanted to check it out to see what I did. If you want some that are a little bit large, you can get the ones that are for $9.98. So they have, different sizes for everyone, just depending on your budget and how much space and how many you're going to be working with, just to show you by scale how big they were. And over here, they have the smaller multiple ones. And if you're going like for neutrals or more rust colors, then that might be a better option for you. These are for $6.98. And if you like putting like corn stalks on either side of your your doorway or make an arch in your garden, then these are a great idea. And their Indian corn is what they call it. You can see how much those were going for. And over here, just to show you how they fix a little display right here with the bales of hay along with the white pumpkin. And I did check to see the price for you guys, but it was not on this one. So I went searching so I could tell you what it was going for. And over here it shows us $9.98. And they had these beautiful rockers, white and black. And these were going for $9. I'm sorry, $99 is what they were going for. Now over here, if you wanted to capture that look that I did with the blue containers on my fall porch, you can get some of these. This one's a little bit expensive, so it's best to get them on discount. I got mine at 70% off in the middle of winter, so look out for those deals, guys. This is a smaller size and smaller price, I should say. It's a little thinner, but it is beautiful and it will definitely work for you if that's in your budget. Over here, these are called Black Flamingo. And these are actually, they call them tender perennials, but they're more for tropical areas. So if you are going to keep these, you'll have to bring them indoors before the first hard freeze so they'll be able to survive. They were for $13.98. And so are these other ones over here, more snapdragons again, where you have, like a lot of different colors in the same container. These over here, these are dianthus, and they will come back every year. I really love them. I have quite a few of them. And honestly, I just started off with one and I got so many plants from it. I had one that was a hot pink and it is beautiful and in different places in my garden now. Speaking of hot, they had ornamental peppers over here, beautiful colors. If you have small children, just make sure they're aware that they should not be touching these because they are hot. And I just want to take a moment to invite you to subscribe to my channel if you have never done so before. I do lots of gardening topics, tips, and tours, and I decorate my porch for each season of the year. We have a wonderful community of gardeners here. We exchange ideas, leaving comments and, just moving along in the wonderful process of gardening. And we have merchandise too, whether you're getting aprons or whatever with a fall theme. We also have t-shirts, different items. Just click on the shopping icon you can get for different seasons of the year, depending on what you're looking for. Moving along to some more cool weather plants over here. And you can see that these are giving you extra because there's some little ones coming up in there. So that's great. It says that they need full sun, so they'll want to be in a sunny area. And these are going to make it through the cold weather, guys. I tried these. These are the mustard greens, ornamental mustards, I should say. And they're very pretty. I like that rich color. And I think it is beautiful. And like I said, they can stand up to the cold weather, so they'll be okay. Unless you're in a really, really cold area, maybe like zones 5 or 4, then maybe not. But anything warmer than that, then these will hold up for you and last you right up until in the spring. And these over here are some ornamental kale, and I use these all the time. These are the green ones, but sometimes they'll have the purple ones too. And over here we have more greens again. And these plants, they pair so well with these pansies that you saw earlier. I just love to put them in my garden. And you can also mix in the snapdragons behind them because they're a little bit taller. Let's move on to the shrubs, guys. These are some Laura petalum. And I've talked about Laura petalum quite a bit in the last few months. And they're a wonderful shrub to have. They bloom in the springtime, almost like azaleas. And when the flowers have faded, the beautiful leaves are there to contrast and just pop in your garden. And these are some azaleas over here. These are some encore ones, which means that they bloom in the fall and then they bloom again in the spring for you. And now is a perfect time to plant them before the ground freezes over. Now let's take a look at some evergreens. This one is a juniper right here, and I just love that blue-green coloration. These plants, they help to, prevent like soil erosion. So if you have an area that's sloping a little bit, it's a good idea to put those there. They work really well. Over here now we have some, these are more like for privacy or just to, form little areas around like borders and things like that. They're really gorgeous. And you can start off with the smaller sizes like these ones for $10.98. And eventually they'll get big like these. Or if you wanted to spend more because you want quicker results, you can pay more for $59.98. And you can even decorate them for the holidays too, put lights on them, and they're so gorgeous. There's another one over here, another evergreen, Dwarf Alberta. And you can see how they're looking and how much they're going for. And again, guys, make sure you look at how big they're going to get because the tag will tell you so you have enough space when you're planting them, so it'll be perfect for you. Speaking of space, this is a magnolia over here, and these grow pretty large, usually about 20 to 22 feet. And these, you can see how they're looking here. They were going for $72.98. So again, bear the size and manner. They make pretty wreaths, like over the holidays for your door and all of that. We're moving on to our tropicals now. This is cordyline, and this is for $19.98, and they pair very well with your crotons. But just beware, guys, that these are tropicals. So once your overnight temperatures reach 50 or below, you'll want to bring them indoors. Just be sure to check for bugs before you bring them in so that they will be okay, and also give them a good light source so they'll, be able to get enough light. Now we're looking at the herbs. It's a good time to plant herbs. And they need sun, so they need to have a nice little sunny spot for them. But these were all going for $5.98. They had cilantro, they had mint, they had basil, lots of different types. Oregano, all of those were available for that price. And there's some rosemary as well too, which I absolutely love. I have a large one I've had for 5 years. And over here, guys, more chrysanthemums. But just bear in mind that when you're choosing your chrysanthemums, again, make sure you decide how long you're going to need to be open for before the first hard freeze. So choose ones that are either, not fully open to last longer, or if you want more color, you could choose the bigger ones. And so I really had a great time here, and I hope this gave you some great ideas as you decorate your outdoor space for this season. Thank you so much for watching and supporting my channel in so many ways. And thank you so much to my channel members for being an extra special part of what we do here. It truly means a lot. And I certainly hope to see you in the next video. Happy fall gardening. Take care.